Hey guys, it's Val, and I have my husband on this video. I want to say it's David. So we're making a quick video on what it really is like to be new parents and just some expectations versus reality we had. I'm just going to ask some questions to David because as a dad, they have hardships too. So David, do you feel like you're missing out on your child's life because you have to work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday?
Not really. Because during the day, he's normally as calm can be. And he's really happy when I get back home. So I don't feel like I really miss out. I'm sure I do on certain things. Hopefully not when he first starts talking and stuff like that. Of course, there's things I might miss. But overall, I think I'll be able to see him when I get home.
What was the hardest part for you as a dad, you would say, as a new dad?
And going from husband to a dad?
Yeah.
I would say I was just, when we got married, I was learning to really become one flesh with you. And then this little punk comes out of nowhere and starts, I don't want to say disrupting, but
new transition.
Yeah, it's like a new transition again. And I think that if we didn't really focus on our marriage and establishing strong roots in our communication, it could have gone really bad, because I feel like the baby really enhanced whatever it is that we had in our marriage, whether good or bad.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God. Our arguments, like, you can't hide or you can't go to the other room because you really have to put yourself away, and like, there's the baby, Another question for you. How prepared do you think you were to be a new dad?
You know what? I ask myself that question almost every day.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever feel prepared to be a dad in my feelings of feelings. But in my heart, I really know that since I know my father, like, if I spend time with the Lord and him giving a good father, I'll glean off of him. Like, I'll learn to be a good father off of just spending time with him.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, for me, I honestly don't think we were in a place in life where we were prepared financially or with we live in a studio, so it's not like we had space either. But I think in our hearts, like you were saying, we were prepared because we were ready to welcome this child with all the love that the Lord has given us. For me, I feel like everyone's always asking me these questions, especially as a new mom. Like, was it easy? All these things, and I don't think it'll ever be easy. Motherhood is kind of like, and fatherhood, it's just like on the go learning process. I feel like that's something I learned as a new parent. You would think that all these like birthing class, all these books and everything, you would get a sense of what's coming. But I don't think you truly can learn what motherhood and fatherhood is until the child's literally here, because it's so different for each person. So our experience as new parents has been so completely different than everybody's. And it's really something that you learn yourself with your child on how to teach them, how they process things. Malachi, our little baby, he's 5 months, and he's just like the most laughable baby ever, and I hope that never leaves, because everyone says that there's a point where they don't do that, but I don't want that. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I'm there like all the time, and I think for other people, they feel like staying at home sometimes kind of sucks because you don't get to go out with friends as much, you don't get to probably go out as much. But for me as a new mom, I didn't let that stop me, so I don't feel like I miss going out. I still have sleepovers with my friends, especially my sister-in-law, who doesn't mind my baby crying at 3 in the morning. I've gone to the beach. We take him everywhere. We've gone to the movie theaters with him. So we're not really missing out on anything because the baby it doesn't stop your life. And I feel like that's something people tell you all the time, that baby kind of interrupts your life in a bad way. One thing is, I'm a very fast-paced person, so as a new mom I had to slow down. For me, cleaning the house would probably take an hour or so, and now it takes me about 3 to 4 hours, and I just had to learn to be at peace with that and just allow myself to embrace the grace God has given me, to be okay that it's a slowing down season. Because for me personally, I just love to clean like that. It really is being new parents is slowing down and just embracing little moments. Another question I get, or I hear, it's just it's easier, it's harder on the mom than it is on the dad. And as for new parents, I know that there's a lot of single moms out there, and I can't imagine how hard it is, because with his support, this whole process has been easy. It hasn't been the easiest. I don't think there is a harder task for moms. I feel like it's different difficulties for each parent. So for me, it could be something else, while for him, it could be changing diapers. Stuff like that. It's just completely different.
I hear shade.
Completely different difficulties. For me, it could just be I want to sleep more. And for him, it's just changing.
And I don't want to sleep more? What the heck?
How would you answer the question to someone asking you what it really is like being new parents? Is it at all what you expected?
I was actually once I was born again and had my encounter with the Lord, the Lord made me right. He shaped me up. And I feel like that shape up that he gave me, not shape up haircut, but the shape up that he gave me is in preparation to fatherhood, because he's a good father. And I really feel like he wants to teach single men and soon to be husbands and soon to be fathers what it is to be a father ahead of time. I had an encounter with him and he cleaned me from inside out. I really felt like in that moment I had a desire to do things that even kids should be able to do. So if you are born again and you had an encounter with the Lord and you do walk with him, this is going to be easy for you, unless you walk in things that you shouldn't, or you entertain things that you shouldn't be entertaining, and are ensnared by certain things that you shouldn't be so easily ensnared from. If that's the case for you, I would say it may just be difficult, because in all honesty, if there's things you're doing that you can't do or watch in front of kids, you probably shouldn't be doing it, first of all.
Oh yeah, that's something even before a child, we've always watched a lot of shows that are kid friendly. We just loved doing things that we knew if one day to come our child would come early, it wouldn't really interrupt our life, because we were already doing it anyways. We were already doing kid friendly stuff, watching kid friendly shows, things we could enjoy with our child. So in an essence, if you go clubbing, drinking, and all these things, then you might get upset because of the child, because you can't do that with your child. I don't know, it's for you personally, but we never did stuff like that, crazy things like that. We still go out and probably come home at 2 in the morning with our child, and he's just fine, sleeping in the car seat, sleeping in the couch, or sleeping in our friend's bed. He's fine. Another thing that David was mentioning, I feel like what it really is like for us to be new parents wasn't as hard as it may be for other people, because we already had the Lord's love. We've already had tasted and seen his goodness, and it's just a reflection. We love our child because God loved us. We can forgive ourselves because he's already forgiven us if we mess up. A lot of times I felt like I had all these expectations, and it's just his grace and his goodness. He would just be it's okay, your child's still smiling. So it's just allowing yourself to just embrace the Lord's love and just let that pour out of you and be that reflection. And it won't be as easy as pie, but it'll be just so easy, the transition, because you don't have all these expectations on you. And I feel like being a new parent the moment we let go of those expectations and we just wanted to raise our child out of love, out of like the values we have in the Lord, it's just like, whatever, our baby's doing just fine. So what if he has a pacifier? So what if he is a little spoiled? Like, he's gonna grow up to be a mighty man, and that's our end game. We're not focused on the little seasons of him being a toddler, him being a newborn, him being a baby. And I feel like if you focus on those seasons, then yeah, it can be really hard as a new parent, because you think that they have to be a certain way in that season, and then you put these like tasks and these goals on these babies, and they're just growing. So for us personally, it has been very easy. The only hard part of being a new parent is learning how to balance our relationship and let ourselves enjoy us, like wife and hubby time, because I definitely sometimes felt like I was putting too much time on the baby and I was pushing David aside. So that's like the hardest part for us of being a new parent. We didn't really see how much our marriage would be put on a test. But that's all I have to say for what it really is, a new parent. Just go to the Lord and let him guide you into parenting, and it will be super easy. Well, not super, but
yeah. And if the best advice that I could think of that I can give would be basically like, you have to grow up. You have to put aside so many things. And not to say I still play video games.
Yeah,
I do play video games, but I know when to stop.
yeah.
There's a thing that when you become a parent, you have to learn how to embrace interruption. Like, if you're playing a video game or you're playing something that you can't afford to be interrupted, you should probably be selective of when you can play that, or when you do certain things. But you have to be ready to embrace interruption, because it's gonna happen. Interruption is always gonna happen. And you also have to realize that,
set those boundaries with your wife too, because I let him play video games and I don't get bothered. But if, for example, your wife is getting annoyed that you're playing video games, then it's something you should speak with her first and find a balance for you guys. And the same can go for the wife. And for me, I like to do spa and like long showers, then finding the time where he's like, all right, go do that, and I'll be okay with the baby. Stuff like that. Just talk to your spouse.
Yeah,
and find those balances.
Yeah, just consult each other. And at the end of the day, like, sometimes you do have to grow up and put childish things aside. Like, I had to put a lot of things to the side, but at the end of the day, it's like, I can still do a lot of them. It's just, you have to be willing to be open to be interrupted at any time of the day. Because like Valentina was saying, like, we're focused on the end game, but if you're focusing on what's right here, right now, you're gonna realize one thing. If there's things you're doing that you shouldn't be doing, and you know that you shouldn't be doing certain things, if you're doing those things, these kids are sponges. Like, my child, Malachi's already learning like the things I do, and he watches me and he's copying me. But they're sponges. They're not listening to what you're saying. They're listening to what you're doing.
Yeah, so just focus on like the end game. Don't put all these expectations as new parents. Don't, and like David said, grow up. If there's things you shouldn't be doing, or things that just take up to your time, because if you're too focused on something else, then you will miss out on your child, and you don't want that. That is pretty much all we had to say for what it's like being new parents, a little bit of like our personal parenting. And I hope you guys enjoyed videos like this. It was a quick video on his way to work. So we're gonna peace out, and we'll see you next week. Bye.